Hello, this is Peter, and you are watching Time Traveler's Handbook. So, you want to be good at everything? Maybe you just want to be good at one thing? That's great, we can teach you how to do that. That's right, no matter what the skill may be, given the right method, you can become a master of that skill through time loops, of course. We can look to the movies to see this in action. Edge of Tomorrow is an excellent example of someone who is learning to master a skill by the use of a time loop. In this movie, Major Cage gets stuck in a time loop until he can master the art of combat and escape the battlefront. We'll be using him as an example of effective usage of time loops to master a skill. There are 5 keys to mastering anything, as presented by educational psychologist Benjamin S. Bloom. We will be using these keys to learn how to master learning with time loops. The first key is to have plenty of time to learn. This is possibly the most important key, for research shows that given time, anyone can learn anything. In Edge of Tomorrow, Cage gets stuck in a time loop, which is the best possible scenario to fulfill this key to mastery, because he will have all of the time he could possibly need to master a skill. So, if you want to have enough time to get good at something, create a time loop that is centered around you and can only be broken once you have mastered the skill. That is a surefire way to always have enough time to master something. The next key to consider is your aptitude, or how long it will take you to learn the skill. This has 2 factors: how much desire you have, and how long does it take to achieve mastery in that skill. More difficult skills will often take longer to master for most people, such as learning to play the piano or ice sculpting. But many people have an easier time learning certain skills than others do. Nevertheless, with a desire to learn, you can learn the skill no matter what circumstance you are in. If you have no desire to learn, then you will never be able to master the skill. Fortunately, time loops have a way of forcing desire upon you, for if you don't have a desire, the time loops will go on forever and will be very, very punishing. The best thing you can do is to dedicate your all into mastering the skill, and you can eventually do it. With dedication, you will rise above the rest, and that leads us to our next key: perseverance. You must not only give yourself enough time to learn, but also use that time to its fullest. Use the tools you have to their full potential. Even when it gets hard, keep going, for no matter what, your success is dependent on your mastery. Cage went through hundreds, if not thousands, of time loops before he was able to get off the battlefront. He had several moments of hopelessness and depression along the way, but he could never really stop, because the time loops would not have ended without him pushing onward. Remember, the time loop is a tool to help you succeed, not a prison. Side note here, time loops give you a perfect opportunity to close off information coming into our lives from the world. After your first loop, everything is old news, so every interaction you have will take up less space in your brain and you can focus on more things that you are trying to accomplish. Take advantage of this, and don't try to change things, as they will only hurt your progress and prolong the time loop. Back to the topic at hand. The first 3 factors focus on what you can do to increase your chance of success, but the last 2 have to do with who or what is teaching you. If the quality of teaching is higher, then you will have a greater chance of success. The key is to have a teacher that either understands these principles of mastery or is a master of the thing itself, preferably both, but it's not necessary. If the teacher believes you can achieve it, then the teaching will become more natural for you. Cage had 2 instructors, Rita Vrataski and combat itself. Rita taught Cage the necessary steps to reach his goal of escaping the loop, but the battlefield gave him experience in combat as well as the vital memorization skills that he needed to escape the front. In this case, Mortal Kombat was a better teacher than an instructor, for the experience of striking down your enemies will teach you more than a teacher ever could. Now, this may not apply to you, as your goals may not coincide with killing people. Nevertheless, find the best teacher for you, one that understands these principles or understands the thing you are trying to master. The final key is your ability to understand instruction. Teaching goes both ways. The teacher needs to be able to teach you, and you need to be able to be taught. If you are willing and open to be taught, then the teacher will find a way to effectively teach you. For Cage, even though Rita wasn't the best teacher for him, going out onto the battlefield and trying out different ways to get off the beach was a good teacher. This is because Rita lacked the necessary mastery of the situation, for even though she was great at combat, she didn't know how to effectively teach Cage how to face something she hadn't experienced yet. Only Cage is repeating the day after all, not her. If you can find someone that can effectively teach you for your time loop, it will be a greater asset to you, but if not, use your environment to make up for the lack of quality instruction. If you're worried about convincing someone to teach you, don't worry. You have all of the time in the world to come up with the right way to ask for help. Bloom presented that the average student tutored one-to-one using these mastery techniques performed better than 98% of other students using normal methods. Imagine how much better you can be by using these time loops. Virtually any skill you could want to master can be conquered through breaking the limits of time itself. Now go out, find yourself a skill you want to master, and jump into that time loop.